So this one's a Golden Hawk. This is back in 1981. And what happened in this case is I wanted to go out and do some stargazing. I missed doing that. And even though the back garden back there was quite big, I fancied going somewhere else and doing some stargazing. So for some reason, Joss Bay, which is around the corner from Margate, jumped into my mind. Now Joss Bay have been there during the day, never been there during the night. So God knows why it popped into my head, except for you do get a panoramic view of the sky. But I decided to go. So off I went. I got there, it was about 12ish, 11:30, 12 o'clock. And it was a beautiful, clear, dark sky. There was a beautiful moon, bright moon, up about 20 degrees above the sea, which was black. But the sun, the starlight from the moon sparkled off it. It was real picturesque, beautiful. So I couldn't see all the stars because the moon was blocking out a lot of the stars. So I started looking at the craters on the moon. Read about it then. Not been all that interested in the moon, but I decided to have a look at it. I was there for about half an hour, examining the craters and looking around and thinking, what a lovely spot. And then all of a sudden, boom, this UFO popped up and started to move across the sky. It was a beautiful, and I have to say, a beautiful golden globe. I was taken back by the colour, to be honest. It sort of spiritually hit me as it flew across the dark sky. See some photos in a little while, get a better impression. And as it moved across the sky, again, couldn't see the wings. It was an orb shape. It flew across the moon. Now I expected it to get dulled a little bit by the sunlight being reflected off the surface, but it didn't. It was still as bright when it passed over the moon as it was when it was in the dark sky. And I watched it move. Again, no sound at all with it. And guess what? On my own again. Out in the middle of nowhere, then I spotted it. Why? Again, it was an urge to go there. Not a place I would have picked myself, but for some reason I decided to go. So what's going on? What's happening? Are they doing this on purpose? Why? I was absolutely flummoxed. I couldn't understand what was going on. You must bear with me when I keep saying this, because it's very relevant to the story. I was mesmerised by it, but I was also flummoxed by it as well. I just couldn't understand it, couldn't make sense of it. So it flew away, silently, disappeared. I watched it disappear in the distance, northwest, and then decided to pack up, because I had enough by that time, and to get back to my car and go home. Again, I couldn't tell her why, she wasn't going to listen. I could have walked to the car park and say, excuse me mate, did you see that UFO across the sky there? That beautiful golden coloured UFO? As far as I could see, they were gone. Like that. Which back then was the natural reaction.
John, on the night of the experience, he parked his car on the top of the cliffs around midnight. That's a photograph of the car park taken from daylight hours, just to kind of give you an impression of the local area. And also there was the North Forehand Lighthouse. It was 1 kilometre to the south of his position. That's it there in the distance, you see it over there. By the way, neither myself nor John believe that the lighthouse was anything to do with his experience. Yes?
I have to show it was decommissioned.
There we go, it was decommissioned at the time. When did you add that to the report? There we go. Report update coming in. The lighthouse was decommissioned back then, so definitely couldn't have been the lighthouse.
I wish it had been.
That's not what lighthouses look like anyway, is it? So there's a great view of the moonlit bay from the top of the cliffs. And this is the position where John was situated overlooking the bay. Absolutely beautiful. So nice sea out there. And this is where it came across the sky, right across like that. So you can see it kind of performed largely a straight course, slight kind of turn there, only slight, just kind of essentially following the coastline. And it just moved right across the skies, drawn the position of the lighthouse there, and this is where he was, right at the coast. So yeah, it took place around sort of 12:20 in the morning, so obviously nobody else around at the time, very, very dark, but also lovely weather conditions, and this, as John mentioned, this beautiful orb of golden light. There was no descent or ascent in it, so it went on a kind of straight path across the sky, and lasted between 30 to 45 seconds, so not a particularly slow-moving object. If it's going right across the horizon in that sort of time, it was moving at quite a pace. Looking at this, because of the speed, it's definitely nothing like fast enough to be a meteorite or anything like that. If it was a plane, you would expect planes at a distance. We've all seen them. We know what planes look like on the horizon. They generally look like a kind of clustered mix of white, red, and green, or sometimes only the white. Not this kind of beautiful golden colour like this object was. So it doesn't really fit with it being an aircraft off the coast, just flying along past John's position. So yeah, quite an impressive experience, and it also, as you can see, left a lasting impression on him. There was a kind of spiritual, almost spiritual element to this experience due to how beautiful the object looked. And you do have to wonder, as John's already pointed out, he said it wasn't an area that he would regularly go to, so was he drawn there purposely to see this object on that night?